My name is Gerrard Gosens. I live in Brisbane. I was born with both glaucoma and aniridia, so I'm totally blind. I have prosthetics. I have had the opportunity to represent Australia at 3 Paralympic Games, 7 World Championships. More recently, I've had the chance to represent Australia at the World Championships in Paris Sprint Triathlon and have competed at a number of World Cups for Australia in para triathlons. And as a person who's totally blind, my determination, my persistence has always been about not, I'm doing it because I'm blind. It's just about the opportunity. I didn't have a bucket list of climbing Everest or running from Cairns to Brisbane or dancing with the stars. They were opportunities that were presented to me. And I think for me it was about saying yes and giving it a go. And as I said, I don't claim to be the world's best runner or the world's best triathlete or the world's best chocolate maker, but it's about giving it a go. So chocolate requires a tempering process. It doesn't mean it has a temperature. Temper. In actual fact, it's very happy. So if you're unhappy, we need you to leave today because obviously the tempering process for us is pretty important.
So what does he do? He does everything around the house as other people would. He washes the clothes, he cleans, he helps with the cooking. With his work, he can do anything anyone else does as long as he figures out ways to do it as quickly as everyone else. He does it with the same skill and probably better.
So Gerrard has multiple roles. His primary role is he's done some work in business development, and we also have a Max Foundation, but he's part of our project management office, so our PMO team. Gerrard works here because he has a talent and a skill, and he has an attitude that I wish everybody had. That's why he's here. No other reason. And that's why he continues to be here. The fact that he's visually impaired is just Gerrard. That's just who he is. So I think that's what that's to me, that's what's important.
Being totally blind comes with its moments of sheer frustration where there are the facts of life where things can and do go astray. Back in the old days when I was running the Paralympic Committee, and fax machines were a primary source of communication, and if you printed off a document and took it to the fax machine and dropped it, then I had no idea whether I was going to be faxing a blank side or a written side.
I hear people around him constantly giving him ideas, thinking it's hilarious, but they don't realise that Gerrard never says no.
My name's Troy Grice and I got Gerrard into triathlon. I was swimming at Yeronga Pool, would have been September 2015, and I'd seen Gerrard there a few times. I knew some of his background, with what he'd done athletically in climbing Everest. So I said to him one day, have you ever done triathlon? He said no. And I said, well, do you want to do one? And I'll be your guide. And then I created Monster.
So with this triathlon business, I already know he is going to keep going until he potentially gets to his final Paralympic Games. He won't stop. He'll work full time, he'll make chocolates with me, he'll do everything everyone else does, but also train like an elite athlete, and he won't stop. His coach, Mark Turner, has to figure out how do you teach a guy who's never done very much swimming how to now swim like an elite athlete. It's this. He just never stops. It's just not in his mindset to think I can't do it. It's not in his mindset. So he's constantly just doing it. It's so hard to explain. You've really got to watch him. He doesn't even hesitate. I mean, that's why I'm so frightened of people suggesting he do anything, because I know he's going to do it. And I also know he can't see. So my journey next to him will be to, I look so old because I'm constantly in a state of tension, making sure that he's secretly as safe as I can help him, whereas I know I can't make really any difference at all. He's still going to have someone run him along the road and potentially run him into that car or over that edge, which has happened. He's been run over a cliff.
He forgot about that blindness and dust, so I found that little crevasse. Unfortunately, was left with a few bruises and cuts and a dislocated shoulder.
In all the years I've been running, I've never had a torn calf muscle, never had a torn hamstring. All my injuries have been because of my guides, because they had run me into parked cars and trees and posts and poles.
So the rope's about a 30 centimetre loop. You hold that in my left hand. Gerrard's always on the left. He holds it in his right. And then one of the main things is always making sure that you're in step. So as my left foot goes forward, Gerrard's right foot goes forward, and that way your arms are always swinging in unison.
There are going to be those moments where things do go astray. And I think if we take on board those facts of life, that's where people who are at times sighted or who are fully abled will take on the smallest of things, whether it be, I know, the photocopy of being empty of paper or being stuck in traffic, when they realise obviously what people who are physically disabled go through. I see, some of our swimmers who have one arm, or another lady who swims at QT who is a double arm amputee. Being totally blind is nothing in consideration what the challenges she would face on a daily basis having no arms.
You have to cut this, okay? Because one of our kids has also got a vision impairment, and he's constantly trying to show her to keep persevering, that she'll come across barriers, whether it's at work, day to day. So he's just, without lecturing to her, he's just trying to, we'll teach both of them that when life gets tough, you've just got to get on with it, because that's what we're here for. Yeah.
For me as a sighted person, I say Gerrard isn't disabled, he just can't see, and that he's far more able than 95% of the people who walk through the door at the swimming pool. The drive and the commitment that you must have, me as a sighted person, I can find an excuse not to do something pretty easily. But for Gerrard, there are no excuses. It doesn't matter for him.
The other side of the coin is not only is he looking at his own invested goals, he still likes to help others.
Okay, so I was born with my visual impairment. It's called bilateral anophthalmia. I think that's how you say it. I'd have to ask my mum.
Sean, I think, came to know me through Dancing with the Stars, so he has a poster of myself back when he was a really young kid on Dancing with the Stars, which I signed, and from there he's now gone and he's competing in triathlon. He's 13 years of age.
Yeah, I just wanted to really hear how fast he ran. And him and Billy went for a little run around this track. Jeez, he's quiet. You can't really hear him that much because his feet are just so quiet. And I'm guessing that took lots of years of practice, but yeah.
And he has a fantastic little guide who they're working together, and I hopefully we'll see Sean come up through the ranks, and as he goes on through high school and potentially through his career to become a really good athlete. But it's rewarding to see that those kids see the opportunities through your own particular efforts. And what have you run him into so far?
I don't think I've run into anything hard, but there has been a couple of times where there's a tree and I've nearly run into it.
No parked cars or trees or posts?
No, maybe once, I think. Yeah, I do remember once, but not too many, fortunately.
So he'll have people come up to him and say, could you come and do a fundraiser for us? And he'll go and do that. He'll counsel parents of children with disabilities. He'll try and guide teenagers who are a little off the rails and need reminding of how lucky they are and what they could do with their lives. So he still has that side of him as well.
This morning we're here at the Broncos football ground for two reasons. A, to introduce Sean to my previous running coach, to give Sean some technique in running, because Sean needs to improve his running style to progress as an athlete. And secondly, is to give him a bit of a surprise, where because he had expressed to me the desire to meet the Broncos and didn't believe me necessarily that I actually had a relationship with the Broncos for many years. So we're here today to surprise Sean.
How you going?
Hello.
Good to see you, mate. You going good?
Yes.
Here he is.
That's man. What's your name?
My name's Sean.
Sean, nice to meet you, man.
Would it be okay if I interview one of you players so then I can have a memory?
Bloody oath, mate. Sure.
All right. Because I'm blind, I can't see, so I can't take photos and go, oh, I remember Matt Gillett.
That's fair enough, mate.
Hey mate, how you going? My name's Darius.
Darius Boyd, the captain?
Yeah.
That was cool. I just really want to have a ball in my hand and have some Broncos to my left and right, and then I want to get tackled. Also, would I be able to hear you two tackling each other, like what it sounds like?
Here we go. Oh.
It was brilliant, awesome. But would I still be able to get tackled by one of them?
There's many people who have no excuse to, they'll never do half of what Gerrard's done. And I think that's remarkable what he's done.